When the fire comes, the lights ignite, streaming tales in the digital light. We're butchering all open, take the mic, just talking text that feels so right. Kodi whispers like a spy, I just blossom cutting ties. TV freedom in disguise, no more bills, no compromise. Streaming lives every week, cutting cords, they hit their peak. Please your drink at the flex, you protect your neck, that's what we do. Turn it up and tune it right, gadgets sparking through the night. Ritual vibes, keep it tight. We're the rebels in this streaming lives every week, cutting cords, they hit their peak. Please your drink at the flex, you protect your neck, that's what we do. Turn it up and tune it right, gadgets sparking through the night. Ritual vibes, keep it tight. We're the rebels in this fight. Streaming lives every week, cutting cords, they hit their peak. Raise your drink at the flex, you protect your neck, that's what we do. Squeeze a line, your future set. No regrets, no cable nets. Butcher's life won't let you fret, and Auburn's voice you won't forget. Streaming matters is the place to be. Slice through the chaos with witty glee. Flex pops up, raise your glass high. Protect your neck, no alibi. Streaming matters every week, cutting cords, they hit their peak.
And we're live. What's up? What's up?
What's up?
Hey, nice to see everybody hanging with us. Here we are on another episode of Streaming Matters. Look, we're up to 206. Are we at 261 or 260?
261.
Oh, you fixed it.
I fixed it, yeah.
Oh, I must be. I was a week behind on all of them because you fixed.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at I'm looking at episodes for Pop, and I was like, I thought I was episode 10.
Yeah, this is 11.
Yeah, no, that's why.
11.
That's why.
I
That's
last
why we
week.
I gotta have you to keep me straight. Keep my.
That's why I'm here.
Keeping me doing my shit straight. Hey, thanks for everyone joining us. We're going to do some tech type talking, cord cutting, trying to help save you some money, talk about some things to maybe help you stream a little bit better, to make things work a little bit better in your house. Again, this tends to be not the. We tend to do a little nerd talking. It's not as easy for some people to follow. But if you hang with us long enough, you'll slowly be able to pick up on some of the topics and the words that we use. The second half, the second hour, we will be covering our movie, The Great Escaper, Eddie's movie. He had us watch that this week. So we will do our review of that, and that will be in the next hour. Deleted my comment about Retrobox. All right. Well, hey, I'll try to catch what that comment was. And so I'd like to say thanks to the guys that's on the panel normally. We got Aubin here, Eddie, and Big Daddy Spider Jason has joined us.
Hey.
Thank you guys for being here. And Umbrella has come to join us to talk again. We're honored to have him join our panel. Thanks for joining us.
Glad to be here. Thanks.
So we'll talk. We're going to talk about some of the stuff on Umbrella and try to get a little bit of a more educated comments and because I love talking to different people, developers that have a lot more knowledge than me, and when they talk about some of this stuff, I'm learning. So it is great to have somebody of his caliber and knowledge on the panel. And that's it. That's it. No more virtual blowjobs from here on out. But hey, it is great to have everybody here. We'll get cranking. I see everybody in the side chat. I've tossed you guys' names up over on the side. Thanks for joining us and spending your live time with us, because that means a lot. We'll go ahead and get cranking on some of our topics. Because I want to cover, I want to make sure to give Umbrella time to talk about some of the stuff that I have questions for on some of his stuff and some of the stuff that he may have more knowledge on than me. So we're going to jump into my favorite topic, Kodi. And I will, before we go in talking about Umbrella and some of the stuff that's came this week with some of the updates, I will go ahead and throw a shout out to our man C-Man, who has been under the weather for the last week or two. So he has been struggling, but he is doing better. Hope to see him. We'll kind of see him a little bit around Telegram. Hope to be able to see him more. Also, QuickSilver and Black Lightning have been getting updates to their one-click sections. Some of those sections had fallen a little bit behind, but after I looked at it this week, I saw that a number of movies have been added to one-clicks as well as TV shows. And if something hasn't been updated in that, rest assured that give it a little bit of time and those things will be fixed. Because again, these people are doing this out of the kindness of their heart, and sometimes real life jumps up and bites you in the ass. And so you gotta take care of real life before we worry about all this other stuff. So I'm going to open up the floor to Mr. Umbrella with, I see that and I noticed an update popped up on Kodi. Was it yesterday or day before? I think I saw there was an update for Umbrella. What got updated in that so that I don't miss any of the things that were fixed or added?
Sure, yeah. So the update the other day was support for IMDB list for the static list. I'd previously pushed out an update to allow you to add and remove from the watch list. We wanted to also add the ability for the static list as well. So now if you have a static list or a watch list set up in IMDB list, you can actually add and remove directly from the add-on.
That makes it easy.
Some of the other things that we added was I'll say me renamed all of the artwork inside of the add-on. I was seeing instances where people were getting weird pop-ups and dialogues from using different skins. And basically what that boiled down to was I was using a piece of artwork named Dialogue. They were using a piece of artwork and the skin named Dialogue. Their artwork was overriding mine to make a button funny or a pop-up look funny or something like that. So went through and named all of that custom names so that we don't have any more of those conflicts with naming anymore. And then the QR code was changed where I used to actually keep an individual image for each QR code. So if you had Trakt or whatever, it would just take you to the Trakt URL. It was a hard-coded trakt.com/pin. Now we're actually dynamically creating those and it's in preparation for the TMDB list update because the URL for that is extremely long. And so we didn't expect a user to be able to put that in. So we've hooked into the tiny URL API and we hooked into QR codes being able to create them on the fly. And so basically we can take a long URL and cut it down to a shorter one for you guys and push that back on the pop-up that you don't realize it, but it's actually including your 26 character string authorization code in that tiny URL also, and then the QR codes as well. So the QR codes now, a lot of them will actually put the PIN number in for you, and that's a little thing, but it's kind of I don't know, quality of life improvement, I guess is what you would call it. You're going in on Trakt instead of having to put in your code now, you just scan the QR code and it pops up. If you're logged in, it's already got the device code in there for you. You hit submit and move on. Same thing with Real to Brid. Same thing with All to Brid. Same thing with Simkl. Yes, Simkl is coming back.
Oh, oh, we'll have to bring that up in a minute. Go ahead.
It's coming back eventually. So
Okay.
I've had some requests for it. Always said if I had enough requests for it that I would put it back. But we're going to put a little more time into making sure that it's updated from, the from date, so that we don't have to deal with them getting upset again. But
Yeah.
the QR code stuff is, like I said, one of the biggest things. That actually decreased the size of the plugin. Because I was using hard-coded images before, and I'm not anymore, that actually dropped the plugin from about 14 megabyte download to about a 9.5 megabyte download, because those images were, 3 or 4 megs worth of images in there. Cutting those out, creating them on the fly means we don't have to store those in there anymore.
Yeah.
Also pushed out an icon pack. Some people may have seen that, may not have seen that. Called Smallbrella. Yes, I know it's an original name. All it was is it's just the icon smaller. Somebody asked me if for the Arctic Fusion 2, if I could make the icons a little smaller for it, because they were kind of, I guess, bleeding off. And so I took every one of them and decreased them by 30%, so about 70% of the size that they were, and made a new pack for it and put that out. So that's already available. You can pretty much download that and add that anytime. That's the cool thing about the way we set that up, or I set that up originally, was if I added an icon pack or something like that, I can add it on my GitHub and it just automatically shows up for you guys there.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's really the biggest things that we had. Next thing coming up is the TMDB list. I know everybody's wanting those. They're coming. POV keeps beating me to everything. That's okay. I'm all right with it. He can
Let him work out the bugs.
Hey, yeah, the
Yep.
dude is great. He's got an amazing amount of time on his hands or something. But yeah, he's definitely he's he's pumping them out, man. He's popped out multiple updates in the past few weeks, and it's good stuff. I mean, he's doing the track list, the track drop stuff. He's doing the TMDB list. He's doing a lot. Just so I get this a lot. I can't copy and paste code from POV into Umbrella. It's never going to happen. It's not able to happen. That's not how any of this works. I get this request all the time. Can you just copy the code out of this add-on and this add-on? They are coded differently. If I was to copy and paste code out of this add-on into mine, it would not work anymore.
Yep.
It's just that simple. I wish that I had a lot of the features Finn has, but trust me, I've come to appreciate some of the stuff Peter's done over the years. The customizable menus, that kind of thing. It's all really, really nice. That's kind of the advantage POV has on me, and I've never complained. No negativity mentioned at all. But
Yeah.
he inherited a good add-on.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
he cloned Finn, and that was his choice. I chose to go with Venom.
Yep.
Great, But yeah, he's got a lot of capabilities I don't have because of that. And so, I'm working to catch up. I will probably never make the extra windows that Peter made. That's a humongous amount of work. And Peter's good. He's really, really good about stuff. So I can say that, like I said, that's the update that came. Update that's coming is going to be involved in TMDB list. I know everybody wants that because the TMDB list are free. With the MDB
True.
list here, you got to pay for the API access, and that's the biggest difference.
Yep.
But I got you.
All right.
They're coming,
All right.
and I plan on adding the drop stuff as well from Trakt.
All right. So, I want to. So, when I saw the QR codes, which I've seen QR codes, I think you had, like you said, you had them in the past. I've seen it. I never used them because I have a browser on my phone. I have the URL that goes to Real2Brid /device. For Trakt, it was Trakt TV / authorized or something like that. So I had those all bookmarked in my phone so that I didn't need to do that. I could just click it. So, but I saw the QR code and I'm like, well, that'd be great. It would normally take me to that site, right?
Right.
I didn't realize that now you're talking about what'd you say, a dynamic QR code that's going to add the pin in there for me. So,
Right. Yep.
All right. So now I'm going to have to do it that way, because that's even, not that my way is difficult, but now it's even easier, because if I go through a QR code, automatically the code is in there instead of, is that a 0 or an O? I always say to those. Cannot, like, why can we just ignore those two characters? But now it's in there. So when I read this, I was like, oh, well, an update to his QR code. I'm thinking, okay, no big deal. But you adding, not realizing, I guess I didn't read it clearly enough to see that you're adding that the actual code in there, the 6-digit code that Trakt gives you or the add-on gives you
Yeah, yeah.
to put in
And then
Trakt.
also,
That is neat.
and Real to Brit also responds with a direct verification URL. And so when I make that dynamic URL, we're making it from that direct verification URL now. So it's got all the code and everything in it. Like I said, you're logged in. Real to Brit will be pink, pink, you're good to go. It'll actually, the first screen you'll see if you're already logged in on Real to Brit will be, what do you want to name this device?
Yeah,
You know, the
yeah,
second one you see after that. So
Yeah.
it's you know, like I said, small change, but it's a you know, good quality of life improvement. It is something I've seen, and not to get too much into other people's business
Yeah.
or anything, but the Fin Light Anonymous,
Yep.
whatever,
Yep.
I was actually pulled into a GitHub issue with him on the TMDB list, the guy that's always requesting on the list all the time on Reddit, linked us all in this issue. And
Yep.
so when I replied back to it, POV, KFW, you know, Cody Fitzwell, he came in and he said, hey, you know, I use this API online for, you know, getting my QR codes. It may be, you know, easier. I think that's a great idea. Give him all credit for that. It's awesome. That's where I was like,
Mm-hmm.
hey, you know, let's see if we can find a library maybe that's built in so we don't have to depend on an online service for this. And so the Finlight Anonymous guy replied back that he's actually going to be using the same library as well. So I think you're going to see these same QR codes with the direct, you know, PIN number and everything included in the new version of Finlight as well.
Oh, I mean, that is, I mean, think about it. It's just removes a step. And again, they're not hard steps, but it's just when you're talking to someone that's not familiar with doing an add-on, like, oh, I got to do, how do I authorize RD or Trakt or this? You know, you've eliminated a hurdle that may be a problem for some people, especially people that are non-techie, and you try to explain to them, oh, you know, sometimes. So this is already a step in there. So I'm definitely going to have to check that out because I think with my umbrella, I don't think I've done premiumized on it. Now, does it do the
Premiumized is
link?
the only one that I don't have a
Oh,
direct
well,
URL. That's
well,
hilarious. Yeah.
well, I was
Yeah,
just
that's
thinking,
the
well, because I have premiumized, core box, Trakt, but see, I already had Real to Brid, I already got Trakt already authorized.
yeah.
I guess I could back it out and just to see, because me, I'm a tinker. I like to just tinker with shit to see what it does, and usually I break something, and then I gotta try to figure out what did I do to break it, and how do I fix it again? So
I'm all for it. You break it, you let me know. That way I can fix it.
well, usually it's a user error because I'm like, oh, why didn't I think of it like that? Or and the other thing when you do
somebody
this,
noticed,
yeah,
I'm just sorry
yeah,
to interrupt.
yeah,
I
no,
noticed
no,
somebody
you're good.
commented just now that they
Yeah,
use Account Manager, but the QR code is a good feature.
Yep, yep.
So that's great. I love Account Manager. I think that's awesome. I have seen some people with some problems with Account Manager, just so you're aware, where it's putting that key in and we're actually refreshing it automatically on our side. It may actually overwrite the refresh token that we put in, and then in that position, you're going to get a invalid real Trakt on pretty much all of your add-ons at the same time. So just be aware of that. On the Account Manager, it's great, but if the refresh token is refreshed, used to get a new token, and the other add-ons aren't aware of that, they're not going to be able to refresh their refresh token, and it's just a chain effect. So that's just one thing to be aware of. Great add-on, you can kind of get in trouble with that.
Yeah, I've seen that myself with anytime account manager updates. You got to go in and reauthorize Trakt in it and then resync it with all your different add-ons. Sometimes it works right away, sometimes it doesn't. I still have to go back in the add-on and add Trakt in there, and then account manager seems to figure out that I'm using Trakt with it.
Yeah, it's a hit or miss. Sometimes, and with these new 24-hour refresh tokens, I'd be a little concerned.
Well, and for people that don't know what account manager is, so account manager is an add-on where you can you can authorize in one place, and then it authorize across the board into all the different add-ons. Am I correct, guys? Because I looked at it about a year ago. I looked at it when it first came out, and I kind of like, I'm not going to use that. But it makes it easy if you have multiple add-ons that you're using. You're like, well, I don't want to have to authorize Real to Brid and 2 add-ons or 3 add-ons. It just kind of does the managing of put it in one place, and it does it for all of them. But does account manager have an issue? I've seen it where people complain about Trakt asking to be be authorized multiple times.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about with the
Yep.
token.
Okay.
So the way that works is that we give you when you authorize with Trakt, you get a token, but you also get what's called a refresh token, which is basically a backup token that says, hey, if we try this request and this token is denied, go ahead and use the refresh token to get a new token. And so that's how Trakt works. That's the whole system. And so once every 24 hours, I have to take the refresh token and get a new token and a new refresh token to verify that you're actually in there. And so if those get out of sync, maybe Umbrella's got a new, refresh token and it's cleared the old one, but the account manager tries to use that old refresh token and pull again. Now it's not going to work anymore. And that's where you start to run into those problems.
So somewhat, if for people that, if you've ever done the two-factor authorization on your device, I would guess it would be the same thing, because you ever had it where you guys log into something, it says we're going to send the code to your phone, and you type that in to verify that this is you. So what you're saying is basically you have an old one of those numbers, and so
Yeah, it's
Trakt is saying,
refreshed,
no, this ain't
and we don't know.
this ain't the
Yeah.
right number. This is
Yeah,
the right
exactly.
number.
And so it's saying your key to the back door is not even good. So,
Yeah.
your key to the front door didn't work. So you need to use your key to the back door to get a new key to the front door. And you can't even get in the back door either because that key's bad also. So now, basically your only option is to reauthorize,
Right.
which, go with the analogy,
Okay.
you got to get new
Yeah.
locks.
Yeah. So,
It-
all right, that makes sense. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, usually if you reauthorize and then go in account manager, tell it to resync all your add-ons, then force close Kodi, then open back up, it'll fix it. But sometimes, not even all the time, it'll fix that when it comes up. So
I mean, it's the downside of that. And when we talk about tokens, and again, we're using words, and I get messages from people like, why do you use words that I don't understand? So a token is somewhat like a secret key. If I'm correct, Umbrella, you can correct
You're
me if
dead
I'm
on.
wrong.
Yeah, you're dead
It
on.
is it's like your secret key that links to your particular account, and they're not small. I mean, they're usually really long with a lot of characters, so someone can't just fake a key to try to get into your account. So it's basically gets into your account. So that token is authorizing to you. It's to your account. So those keys, I think of YouTube. YouTube has that key. Sometimes we have to enter that key. And that key is like this long with all the characters. And people say, "Oh, how can I type in my API?" And it's like, well, you can copy and paste, and there's ways to do that. But yeah, because you're never going to be able to manually type that in without taking forever and with a very high risk of error. So yeah,
that's why we like the ones that do tokens, like Torbox, the ones that you do their API key only. It's hard for people that don't know how to copy and paste from their phone or something like that into Kodi. That's tough. Sit there and try to type that out. So anywhere we can grab a QR code or a URL or any type of device code, that's an advantage. That's why they did what they did with the Coco Scrapers recently with Media Fusion, is they did it with the device code.
Yeah.
And because it was hard to get that URL. That URL is crazy long. If you saw the actual Media Fusion encrypted URL, it's even longer than the TMDB list stuff is. I don't know how they would expect somebody to ever type that in. Every setting you have is encrypted in the URL.
Oh. And that's a lot of settings. I mean, we looked at it last week, and you saw the list of on or off, and if you did the advanced, holy shit, that's a lot of stuff. And hey, people, I was actually going to mention this later, but I'll post it up here. We're talking about adding copy and pasting inside Kodi. If you want something that's a copy and paste, the core remote for Kodi. Now, this is official thing from the Kodi Foundation. It has a copy and paste feature. So let's say that, as Umbrella says, you go and you need to put in your API, and you look on your phone and there's your API and it's forever long. You can go and copy that, and then you're able to log in from your phone with Core. And there are some steps to linking it to your device, your Kodi, but then you can actually copy and paste right from your phone right into Kodi, and you'll see it right on your screen. It'll pop up there, and you can do it. I did that with my API for YouTube.
Yeah,
because
I've done
that's
this for
too
10
hard.
years. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
this is great. And it works on iOS and Android.
Yeah, and this is one of those secret apps that people never heard of, but people that've been using Kodi for a long time have been using it for a long time. They just don't talk about it. This, and again, you can use it if you want to be doing the remote stuff. You know, yes, you can do as you're using your remote. You can actually fast forward through a movie and stuff like that. That stuff is neat to me. I wouldn't use it for that as much as the copy and paste feature. Copy and paste feature to me is it has a little keyboard up there, and to use it for that, it is brilliant. But definitely for people that are Kodi users using it on a regular basis, the core, and it's at the Play Store. I would definitely get it. A small setup on the front end. You have to set up your device basically and allow it for a third-party app to have control of Kodi. You set up a username and password and all that kind of stuff like that. But it's just inside your network, and you can control Kodi from your phone. Somewhat like Fire TV has. Amazon's got somewhat of a thing, not as good as this, but somewhat.
Now, are you aware
Yep.
when you enable the web interface on this, that it actually enables a web interface also?
What you mean?
It means you can go to your IP address :8080 on your computer of your Pi box or your Kodi or whatever, and your remote is there in the web browser.
Oh, well, yeah, which is you'd have to put in your username and password, right?
Yeah, it'll pop up and ask you.
Yeah.
That's if you set it to authenticate. You can actually set the remote services to not authenticate if you.
Yes, yeah, but it gives you a big warning.
Yeah, it'll throw a
Kodi
fit.
gives you a warning. Yeah, it gives you a warning. This is not a safe way to do it. But
yeah, they have a
definitely
web interface too. If you're like me, you're sitting in front of the computer most of the time. You can type in the IP address of your Kodi and 8:8080, which is 8080 is the port it uses for the remote, and you're ready to roll.
Oh, let's try that. I mean, mine's in another room, but it's definitely, this is a tool that I had pulled it. I had thought I'd talk about it later in the show, but for some of you guys, that it is definitely a neat tool, especially for copying and pasting. I mean, it's brilliant for that. And again, free, and it's legit. This isn't a fly-by night application that may or may not work or be suspect. It's a long-standing application.
It also will show you your playlist on that too. So that's like one of the tools that I used for troubleshooting the next up or play next or whatever.
Yeah,
is that you can actually get a playlist on here of what's set up next. So if you're using next up or play next, you can actually see whatever episodes or whatever are lined up to play next, or if there aren't any. So basically, if you don't see a list of episodes in a playlist, you don't have anything playing next. If you do, you know that whatever's on the list is what's going to play next.
Yeah, definitely one for people to check out. This is a great application to add to your list of if you're now Aubin, he's falling asleep at this time because we're not talking about Plex. But yeah, for us Kodi users,
Plex, I tried taking a couple of steps and stuff, wasn't doing it, and plus I'm pissed off at your wife, you took her back to the dark side there.
She started with Kodi. I mean, you got to remember her roots are for Kodi.
I know her roots.
She went to the Plex, and I brought her back. I was like, "Let me show you the benefits."
Well, I need to show her some more roots.
The K app. Let me show you what the choice.
I have to show her some more roots.
I don't want to hurt his feelings. I save Plex for my technically incapable family members and that kind of thing.
Yeah, right. I understand that.
It's a true story.
70-year-old father, that kind of thing. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and it's true. You mentioned POV, and that was actually going to be one of the next subjects that I was going to bring up. Him adding. Now, I don't use POV. I'll be honest. I was using Fen in the past, so there wasn't any need to really jump over to POV. But as you said, I mean, he seems fit. Kodi fits well. He seems to be really hustling to really get this stuff out here. And I looked at the video that it shows on how to authorize or add to take your Trakt list and add it to TMDB, and it looks pretty damn simple. I mean, other than pulling up the menu and you right click it, look like, because he went and he's showing here. Let me see if I can get the picture a little bigger.
Hold on.
Then he goes into the track list, import, create a new, name it. What do you want to name it? I mean, it's pretty simple. I mean, if you can't do this, you probably don't need to be making custom lists. So he added it. It added it to his Trakt. He's gonna go, and then he's adding. Adding another one. Okay. Add a new list. Name it. And prior, when he went to the track list, it was empty. Or I should take that back. TMDB list was empty. So he's adding them, or importing them, I should say.
Yeah, and you notice one of the things I want to point out here is he actually just combined 2 lists into one.
Oh.
That was, I don't know if you caught that, but the first import he did was into like Best Buddies. He made a new one.
Yeah.
The second one was like Best Heist. And then he did a third import, and he imported that into Best Buddies again. So you see now he's showing there that Best Buddies is a combination of both lists.
Huh.
Yeah, he's pretty slick, man. He's doing good.
Yeah. Yeah, so if you're a person that doesn't want to pay for Trakt, and some people, honestly, I think Trakt went too high on their price. That's my opinion. I think what's it, $60 a year now is too much. Most of us they're Trakt guys. I'm still on the $30 plan, so I'll stick with that. But to have free list, and if you have Trakt, if you have those track lists, to import them over, now they're in TMDB, and this is a really cool tool and easy. And this is the site TMDB, the movie database.org, and this is where you can, if you want to create the whole list, you can do that.
Yeah, but it again. It's not showing it again. Hold on, I gotta get it to show that page.
That's it. You want me to stop sharing and then share?
Oh, I got it. I did.
Okay. So yeah, this is the website here, TMDB website, and you can go in and log in, create your account if you want, and again, make your custom lists here, or if you have track lists, as we saw on the other video here, you can import them through POV into. So really cool. Yeah.
While we're there with that,
yeah,
we don't forget about Simkl, because we were going to talk back about that.
Yeah. So I knew that. Thanks for helping me circle back to that, because I knew that when you did a lot of work to get Simkl to be integrated into Umbrella, and then it wasn't long that it was there, and then it was gone. Like
they I never really held back on this, and I'm not going to start now. I'm communicated openly with Simkl the whole time I was working on setting it up. I was very clear with them on what I was doing, what I was trying to do. I had changes done to the API, all of this. I put it in testing for 20 days, and they never said anything. The first day I put it into production, within 12 hours, they were sending me messages going, "Hey, we need these changes here, here, and here," and it pissed me off. I'm not gonna even deny it or beat around the bush about it. It wasn't, like I said, I've said it before, I'll say it again. I do this stuff for free, and my time is valuable. I'm not going to get into what I'm making now or to actually do my full-time job, but it's a lot more than zero. And so, my time is better spent doing other things. And so to have it wasted was a real slap in the face for me. And so I really was like, all right. And so I went back and I removed every bit of Simkl out of here. Even before I had done Simkl, integration last time, I had set up lists like recently, done by Simkl. Every bit of that shit got removed. I'd like every bit of it. It's all gone. And it's coming back. Not because of any, fixed faith in that they're going to, be any better this time or anything like that. I've had about 15 different users reach out to me and say, "Hey, I know you're pissed. I know you wasted your time, but can you please, add it in?" Aside from resume points, if they had resume points, they'd be a real competitor for Trakt. I don't know. Like I said, for me, it's coming back. I'll put it back in. It's going to be a lot the same as what it was. I still am going to support the different watch lists and all of that. but I'm going to do their caching the way that they asked. So it's it's going to be basically anytime it updates or checks for an update, it's only going to be from the last date that you updated. Um, Biggest difference is if you get out of sync or something like that, you're going to have to use that force database to local sync again or whatever. But for the most part, you should be fine. I've been testing it a little bit, and it's been pretty good. And it was not as much work as I thought it was going to be to change it over, but it wasn't as simple either. So it
Right.
goes both ways. But it's coming back. I think some people will probably be really happy to hear that. And sorry, like I said, my personal feelings should never get in any way, shape, or form into the development of the add-on. So I apologize for that. Like I said, whether they piss me off or not doesn't mean I should remove a feature.
Right. Well, I get it. I mean, again, is if you're just doing this just for free, and if they're someone tells you to jump through these hoops, and you jump through those hoops, and then after all said and done, well, we added some more hoops that you got to jump through. Can you do those too? And it's like, wait a minute.
Yeah, and they
already
were
did
much
this.
bigger hoops to jump through, and that's my main point. Is like it wasn't a small change request; it was huge, and so it was like,
Yeah.
all right, you guys can
Yeah.
ingest a
Yeah,
satchel of Richards, and removed it.
Yeah. Let me fix it. I'll fix the whole problem for you.
Yeah.
Let me fix it for you. So okay, well, so thanks for reminding me that.
But
Robin, that
Yeah.
circling back to
really though, like while
yeah.
we've got enough people here and the people on
Yeah.
the panel, even you guys
Yeah.
that use the Plex or use the different things,
Yep.
how
Yep.
important are lists to you guys? I mean,
They are important to me.
Oh,
Yeah,
They are.
Robin,
Yeah,
lists.
yeah,
My
Yeah,
watch
it's
list
great to have-
is probably it.
Yeah. No, but I like, having a list to say, okay, I want to watch, like some type of horror, or if I wanted to watch, the end of the world movies, I like having a list like that. I can just click on it and say, okay, find something that I want to watch that I got,
Mhm.
see, for me, it's I've replied to this on Reddit as well. I use Kodi and 100% of my TV. I do have Plex. I have a Plex server, but for me, the lists are mostly trending or my shows in progress. I
Yes.
don't get into a lot of the action movies or this or that or whatever. I understand it. I don't understand the list request. I won't lie. I get so many requests for different, integrations to go into different lists and things like that. Just because I don't get it doesn't mean I'm not going to do it. But I don't get
Yeah.
it. It's totally like how many lists do you need? I think the guy that's always requesting says somewhere like 695 or something.
I've seen that in Reddit, and I'm thinking, I have, and this is how I created my list when I first created my list, is when I had an add-on. I used Trakt to create the lists for my add-on back in the day. So I had reality shows, so I would have different folders or different lists for different type of reality shows. I use my list for that. Now, since I don't have an add-on anymore, I don't really use it, even though I have those lists still on Trakt. I don't really need it. I think my wife, she tends to do like lists of things that she wants to see that are upcoming. So she has a list of shows or movies that she's like, oh, I can't wait for when that comes out. So she adds it to her watch list. That for me is about it. My continue watching my progress, the next episode. Yeah, that I use that every day. And that's really my only real list. Other than my watch, I like my watch list when I'm out and about. So if I'm with somebody and they say, hey, have you heard about this new movie? And I'm like, no, what is it? And they'll tell me, or a TV show. I pull up Trakt on my phone. They tell me what it is. I look it up and I'm like, yeah, it looks interesting. And I add it to my watch list. That's really the only reason I need my watch list, because I can't, to be honest, I don't remember when I get home. I probably don't remember 5 minutes after I talk to them.
No one does. No one remembers.
Whatever show they were talking about. Like, I don't remember.
That's great. I mean, I'm like I said, and I'm saying I don't use them, and I can definitely see where, like I said, your example there is perfect. I could get some use out of that. But
yeah, I think the people that have those big lists, I'm telling you, for me was only when I had an add-on, because I could link in my add-on I could link to that track list, right?
Right.
And whatever I changed my track list, my XML looked to that list and it populated in Kodi. So that's when I see people with those lots and lots of lists, I'm thinking, do you have an add-on? Or I know Aubin uses it for when getting, to remember to get stuff, or for sonar, radar. But yeah, so that's
Good to know. I appreciate the feedback. Like I said,
yeah.
I'm always interested to see what other people have to say about it, because it's definitely, like I said, we all use it differently. I didn't know about skins before I started using Kodi. I didn't know about library before I started using Kodi, or before I started developing for Kodi, I guess is a better way to put it. I literally used the base skin and Venom. That's it. The only add-ons I had. I had Estuary and Venom. And so coming in and finding all the different ways that people use this stuff was a crazy adaptation. So it's awesome to get feedback on, because I'm looking at Trakt right now trying to figure out how this drop feature works. It's always something new. And so it's great.
Well, the drop feature, I forgot to mention, I was going to add that to the show. The drop feature. So when you hide stuff, and again, I'm talking if Umbrella, if any of you other guys have read it. So when you would hide a show, because let's say you're watching a show and then it's on your list of continue watching, or on that list of shows you've been watching.
Right.
And then all of a sudden you're like, I don't want to watch that no more. So you hide it. So hiding it. So they changed to hiding, or they added dropped. So was dropped means it's off the lists, and then hiding, once a new episode comes out, it moves it, populates it again. How do you understand it,
the way I understood it was with the hidden, no matter if there's a new episode, no matter what, it stays hidden. But if you drop it, but then you start to watch it again, it'll show back up in your different list on Trakt. So basically, a hide is a permanent hide, where a drop is hide this until I watch it again. That's the way I understood it.
That's it. Yeah.
That comes in handy for, when you have a lot of shows. Like me, I watch a lot of stuff. If I could drop something at the end of a season, and knowing that it's going to pop back up once a new episode comes out, it'd be good, because then I don't have to sit there and look through, a whole bunch of stuff that I already watched, and that's showing on the list there. That was also one of my problems with the Simkl, was that because I couldn't, be like how I am in Trakt, and be able to be like, oh, okay, I'm looking at a movie, and you can't even click on it doesn't show the actors in the movie that you can click on and see everything else that they do. Drove me completely nuts.
Yeah, because in Trakt, yes, you can. If you click on a person, and then it hyperlinks to these actors' content. Yeah. You're right. I forgot they didn't do that.
That's the most important thing of using any type of app like this.
Because you're a person, you're one of those people that you watch a show and you're like, hey, I watched Mikey 17. Oh, Robert Pattinson. What other stuff has he been in? And then you're like, oh yeah, I do want to go back and watch Altered States, or I want to watch any
and
of
that's how you throw stuff in your watch list.
Yeah, and I love Aubin, but I'm telling you, his watch list, you don't want to follow him on Plex. Oh my God. Man, be watching. He adding to his watch list every day, and he don't add it by one or twos. It's 20s and 30s added.
So how many items are on your watch list right now?
Oh God, I don't even know. Maybe 2,000.
Shit. Okay.
Yeah. True, Umbrella.
Here's my thing. Okay, so with watch list, the way that we do that, your shit's killing me. Is we take that and we put it into an SQL database locally, store it.
Okay.
And so when you sync every 5, 10, 15 minutes, it looks and says, has this changed? If it has changed, go ahead and drop it and pull it down again. If it hasn't changed, leave it alone. And so then I pull from the local table there in order to show you that watch list, and sort it and paginate it and do the different things with it. So your database would be huge.
It is huge.
2,000 items in the watch list. So I'm sure
Right.
that
that's why he does.
built.
In that, well, he doesn't use Kodi.
Right.
Yeah, he's on
Yeah.
Plex.
All
Yeah.
is
I'm
on
Plex.
Plex.
So what
That's
you're
all.
saying, it would be better if I don't put that stuff in watch list and put it in something else?
Well,
Because
these
watch
days with
list is the only list that it's doing that with, right?
these days, if you're a VIP user, you're best off to be using
I
your watch
am.
list. Yeah, go
Yeah.
ahead, keep using it. Get your money's worth out
Yeah.
of them. Tear
Yeah.
them up.
Yeah.
Add another 3,000.
No, I'm not.
Don't know.
I,
I'm in VR with this man, and when he's going through his Plex and what he's going to watch, and it's like, come on, Alvin, can we get to what we're trying to watch? And he's like, oh, this is interesting. Let me watch a trailer
Well,
for this. I'm like,
gotta watch the trailers, man, and that's
Uh,
how you know. I was like, oh, I got that. Yeah, yeah.
you
I
know,
want
that's
to watch
something.
that.
I'm
That's
glad
what
you
I
mentioned
want to watch.
that. So you keep talking about reminding you of things. I slid something in on one of the previous updates that I didn't mention in the changelog or tell anybody about. But
Uh-huh.
you may have noticed it. It deals with the trailers. Is that if you highlight an item and you get ready to, play a trailer for it, you have a second option now for instead of just play trailer as play trailer select. Also, that
Uh-huh.
play trailer select allows you to select from a list of trailers to play instead of just getting the
Oh,
first one off of YouTube.
yeah,
oh,
because
okay,
hey,
okay.
I didn't notice that, but because I noticed a lot of the trailers lately are in phone mode.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
And then
exactly.
that,
Or it's just like the top result is not always the best, so you may
right?
want to be able
mhm,
to select it, and so I added
right.
that option in on the context menu and completely
Huh.
forgot to like put in the change log or anything else, but it's there, so if you use
I,
it,
Do you
I
do like how Plex does it and have the add to watch list on the trailer?
I don't do it on the actual trailer itself because we don't have any control of that. Like when you're playing a trailer in Kodi, it's just passing off the video from YouTube to play it.
mhm.
Right,
But we
right. But that's
do
what
on
uh
the like the
what Plex
select.
is doing too, isn't it?
Yeah, and so we have the ability, if you select an item in the menu on the context menu, you can add to watch list. Yeah, it's under the Trakt
Right.
manager. You can add. So
Okay.
yeah, that's what we were talking about with the MDB list is that we just recently added that ability as well for the MDB
Okay.
list, is to add to watch list or add to a static list.
All right.
Huh.
Yeah, that sounds
I,
good.
I'm I love learning, and I've learned a number of things already on this show.
Mhm.
That's why it's always good because I like to learn. It's like I didn't know that was there. And when you said about that trailer select, I saw that just the other day. We were screwing around, and I'm looking through Umbrella because I was like, I'm doing a skin or a build, and I'm trying to just use Umbrella. I think I'm going to use Mad Titan, and I think I'm Black Lightning or QuickSilver. I'm not sure. Just 3 add-ons because I want one with 1 clicks, one's at sports, and then one that's going to be your scraper type add-ons. And I saw that trailer select. I'm like, I don't know what that is. So I just clicked the other one. I clicked play trailer. So that is a neat little feature. I'll have to look at that.
It's one of those things
Because
I, added in out of convenience and forgot about, and didn't even bother to mention the change log or anything. It's kind of just a, fun little add-on,
yeah. All right.
But
Oh,
I'm glad
so
you mentioned scrapers real quick because
yep.
you plan on talking about the Coco Scrapers
Yes,
update,
I was
right?
going to talk about them. Yep.
Okay, so that's one I can't wait to hit on. If you guys have not updated the Coco Scrapers yet to version 1.3.36, you need to go
36.
ahead and update. It's a big difference. It's a significant difference. We in the past have had to add a 2-second pause on any site that we scraped that had a pack. So we don't want to hit
Like episode packs.
right.
So because like shows that are like it's a one big pack instead of it being
Get the whole
just one
seasons in a
episode.
pack.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
that kind of thing.
Season.
And so we don't want to hit torrent.io 2 times on every scrape. We want to hit them 1 time. And so what we do is we hit them once, we store that result, we scrape it for individual results, and then we wait 2 seconds and we scrape it for pack results. Well, that has been changed now to where instead of waiting 2 seconds, it is putting them into a queue, meaning they queue up. The first one goes in. Once it's completed, the next one immediately scrapes. And so it's still only hitting the result 1 time. We're scraping that same result twice, but instead of having a hard 2 second on 5 or 6 different scrapers pausing, we have a queue now where it's immediately hitting afterwards. It is the most significant difference and update I've seen to Coco Scrapers in 2 years. It's a significant difference. Like I said, you're cutting 6 seconds off of every scrape, and that doesn't seem like much until you actually see it.
Well, no,
But
people pay attention to something that takes and it's taken 12 seconds, not 9 seconds. People get uptight about having to wait those few extra seconds. So 6 seconds is a lot of time and for a lot of people.
when we had
Yeah.
it in testing, I have a tester that's just the biggest whiner you've ever seen, which he makes for a great tester, but he cries about everything. And so give it to him knowing I'm going to get some crazy feedback. Like this is one of those, you send it to him and you just wait to see what comes back each time. He's great about that. And so send it to him and he's like, well, I really like it. It's really fast, but it takes a few seconds. I don't know if it's even scraping right. It takes a few seconds for a source select display. And I said, well, what that is that's actually, it's taking longer to build the list of sources. It found so many sources than it did to scrape the website. And that's what you're
So
seeing.
the list, it's taking longer for it to create the image of all the lists, all
Exactly.
the sources it found than actually to go and grab all that list.
Exactly. So if you're on autoplay, you're going to see it hit immediately and play.
Yeah.
It's going to be literally 1-2 seconds. If you're on source select, yeah, it's going to take a second or two to build the list. But I mean, that's hilarious to me that it's so fast now that you're now able to see the speed of how long it takes to build that list in Python, which is hilarious. And we're, with Media Fusion, with the new stuff, we're seeing hundreds of results now. So that source select list takes a lot longer to build when it's 350 results.
Yes.
So yeah, it's funny, and if like I said, if you haven't updated, go ahead and do it.
Well, most people should be automatically updated because if the Coco Joe's repository, I would assume would have it.
Yeah,
I know
that's been-
mine.
that's been nuts.
Mine. I think I saw it on mine.
Yeah. So the way that's working, okay, is that there's a new team of people helping
Yeah.
on the Coco Scrapers, okay, which is great. And thank you all very much. Just to say that now, anybody working with Coco, appreciate you very much. But they're pushing this stuff over, and there's a new repo, and the new repo. Instead of trying to point everybody to a new repo and setting the alarms off and everybody and everything else, we got Joe to point the old repo to the new one for us. Okay, and so
Okay.
he then pushed an update out to the repo a couple of days ago where if you have Coco and you have the repo, it should have tried to update to 1.01. If you see it update to 1.01, that's the repo updating to point you to the new place. It's a different GitHub, and so without you having to input a whole new source, that's the only way we could get it to do it was to force an update like that. But if you haven't updated and you can't get it to update, you're having some trouble, literally just go to install from zip, install from the same Coco Joe repo source you have already, and it will give you the updated repo.
Okay.
So it's I hate having people do extra steps like that, but if you can't get it to update, that's your easiest way.
Well, and part of this is because Kodi 19, I think, added those safety features so that if a repository can't be hijacked by another one.
Right.
So if you've been updating through Coco Joe, even if another repository has a newer version, unless you tell it to get it from the other repository, so that makes sense that I'll have to look. I know that my one setup, because I did it manually, so I'm gonna have to look to see. I know I'll check with C-Man too, because I know his repo points to the official Coco Joe repository because I think it was QuickSilver started using the Coco Scrapers.
Yeah, he uses Coco Scrapers, and then the Kodi Fitzwill put out the Magneto Scrapers, and ended up rolling those right back in the week after because the Coco update came out. But
yeah, I saw he said that he said there wasn't no need for it now.
No need for it. And he's been around to kind of help with different things as well. So I won't say too much, but just know that he's helpful. And
it's good that everyone's working together to make sure things run smoothly. Because again, when you rely on just one person, that's just one. If everything is on one, doesn't take but just a family emergency or something happens and everything stops. But if you get a team of people that are working together, that's what it's about, and that's what keeps things running smoothly.
Oh yeah, and I won't throw too many people under the bus here with it or anything like that. But this isn't saying this is the person who did it by any means, okay? But the latest update to Coco with this, queuing system, that code and that stuff, that came from Peter.
Yeah.
Who's retired now, not doing any
Yeah.
code anymore, and
Yeah.
not messing with it at all. And he's still helping us out with stuff. So just want to make sure he gets his credit. Originally, I think Cody Fitzwell did some queuing stuff in the Magneto scrapers, and I think Peter caught that and was like, hey, this could be used this way. And
Yeah.
so he, sent some example code over, and those guys got together, got it coded, and got it
Yeah.
updated. And it's been a good update. This is one of those I cannot say enough. And so I'm seeing some people over in the side chat saying that they're stuck on 32 or they're having trouble. Just install from zip again. Install the Coco Joe. Go to install add-on from zip and then install the Coco Joe repo again, and it should get you up to the date to the latest one.
I'm definitely gonna have to try that when I get done with the show.
And 1.0.36 is the latest version.
Yes, yeah, I knew 36. I was looking. I'll have to look for that. Another. Well, I love that we actually able to talk about Kodi for an hour. So
sorry guys.
No. Hey, I'm usually me and Dave are usually the only ones that get to talk about Kodi on here. So DaddyLive. Now I know a lot of people love DaddyLive, and it had some issues. So you have a couple options now, and I know that there was a new add-on that came on, a new DaddyLive add-on came out from Fubu's created one and has a new update for DaddyLive. I think I heard today from somebody that some of the other places where you got DaddyLive should have been updated to the new changes. There was some changes with the URL, so it wasn't working. Those changes have been made on this. So if you're a person that's been using DaddyLive and you're like, hey, that's my add-on, but it hasn't been working, you might want to check it out. It should be working again with it once it gets an update. So once it gets a new update, it should have it fixed. That reminds me, Gratis, not Gratis. How do I say that, Eddie? Gratis.
Gratis.
Yeah, because it knows that French name. I saw that they posted that which it was a dead add-on. The developer left it, but it was completely free add-on. Had all free stuff. That updated their live TV section. So if you're a person that has that particular add-on and you liked the live content, it has updated. So you should be able to get the live stuff. The movies and TV will not work in that. There's nobody working on any of that. So if you used Gratis for that other content, you will not get it. You'll only get, if you update, you'll get the update for the live TV and the sports section. I think it saw 3 sections on the menu when you go into it. So yeah, that was a big thing. So I saw on Reddit, people crying. They want their live TV and they don't want to pay nothing. So I thought that was an important thing for people to know that updates for that. And I want to say that the crew updated theirs, but I'm not 100%. But if it's not updated, it's probably going to be updated soon. Since we're talking about streaming stuff, I'll jump over to this one, Alvin, real quick. Stremio has been added to the Quest devices, and Daddy Spider. Now because I haven't even, because this just came out yesterday. I didn't even notice it. You actually messed around with this one.
Yeah, I was playing around with a little bit with it last night and then more today because I'm not a Stremio user. Yeah. So this is the first time I had to play around with it. So I went through and set it up, added some add-ons to it, and went and played around with it on my Quest. And it's not a bad little app for the Quest. If you want to be able to watch shows, movies, I didn't get to try live TV to see if it works with live TV in there. But if you want to watch those things in kind of like big screen without needing to be hooked up to your computer, just wireless your Wi-Fi, it works great for that. And it's like using, I set Stremio up on my tablet to play around with it on that, and it's just like using it on your tablet or TV or Android devices. And the same setup. So when you first launch it, if you log in with the same user ID and password that you use on other Stremio devices, it automatically refresh all your add-ons, load up all your add-ons for you, so you don't have to do anything else as far as setting it up. If you're using it for the first time, you will have to either use the web version or have it on a tablet or TV or something like that to get your add-ons loaded first there, and then you can go into the Quest app and refresh it, and it'll sync it up for you. So
yeah, it's because Stremio is. We talked about Stremio. I think it was last week or a week before we talked about, because I had never messed with it. I guess it was with Fusion, because it has that web UI that your GUI that you do it all through the web browser and set up all your settings and then sync it. So it does make it easier. Plus, with Stremio, if you set it up one place, then you can sync it to other devices in your house with that particular setup, which is nice. There's no, because some people are like, well, I've got this set up the way I want it. How can I put it on another device? Well, Stremio, that does give you that advantage to doing that. But I thought neat thing that they added VR, they added to Quest. One thing about with the Quest, it's not in the Quest store. You do have to go to the Stremio website.
No, it's in the Quest store.
Oh, is it?
Yes.
Because it didn't say nothing about that in here.
If you go into the Horizon store and search for Stremio, it's in there. That's how I got it.
Oh, okay. Well, then that's even easier. Okay, because I just saw it here.
Yeah, you can get it from there and sideload it if you want, but you don't have to. You can pull it right off the store.
Much easier on the store.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, I don't know if I didn't like the Quest 2s don't play AV1 files, so I'm not sure if it handles that stuff. I just tried a couple things I didn't have issues with. But that's kind of nice if you don't have to worry about whether it's because the Quest kind of prefers it in MP4. And if you don't have to worry about that, you just pick your link. That's what I was doing. I just picked the link. It's got, I had open subtitles turned on so I could go in and pick if I wanted different subtitles to come up. You could have different languages if you want to listen to it in different languages too. So it's probably a lot more features than what you're going to find in the native Quest apps without having to use your desktop or a laptop.
I mean, because to be honest, on the Quest, big screen that's the bomb. I mean, that is the Cadillac of it. It's got so many features and so many. But yes, you got to have a PC to basically to remote desktop into. Is basically what you're doing is remote in.
Well, and the one thing it'll do that big screen doesn't, if you have VR movies, so the immersive ones, it'll play that natively. Like big screen won't. It'll show you 3D, but it's kind of like a 3D, like on a 3D TV. Where with the Stremio app, you can have the full immersive, so it's like a 360 degree or 180 degree view while you're watching the movie.
Okay. Right.
So that's different. The Quest has their file manager has a video player that can play them like that. You can do it through Stream VR also, or Steam VR has a player that'll play those. But I think the Stremio app was a lot more features and a lot easier to use than those two.
Okay, nice. Thank you, bud. I thought I'll hit a couple of the questions before we hit some of those other top. I saw somebody posted. Where did you have that top question?
Huh?
I
started a couple.
Yep. I saw where Art asked the questions. Do we think the tariffs will spike prices on Fire Stick services from other countries? I think the sticks could go up in price because they're made not in the U.S. Obviously. The services themselves, they're all going up anyways. I mean, you know what I mean? We talk about it every day and week. Somebody's gone up on prices. We didn't even have time to talk about YouTube's going up. YouTube was going up. So is the price is going to go up? I don't think it's going to go up anymore because of the tariffs. But I think the sticks in the Android devices, the TVs, they're not made in the U.S. They're not made in Canada. They're not made in really even Mexico. They're made mostly in Asia.
China.
So that's where you're gonna see the price spike. That's where you're gonna see that come up.
You're also going to see that prices change around the world as well. And the reason is this doesn't just affect the United States. It's just like any other system of volume. Okay, so when you sell a volume of things, you can sell them at cheaper amounts. So when there's tariffs introduced and you're not selling the same amount of volume, you now have to increase the price of your product, whether it's going to a country with a tariff or not.
Yep.
So every other country is going to see an increase in price for any type of electronic or anything that comes from China for the next, at least 3 to 6 months.
Yeah, it's gonna we'll get bumpy on a lot of stuff. So it's I don't know, gonna be an interesting time in the next few months. 619 asks, Dabs, you got a video on the Unbox? Yep. But RetroX is gone. Trying to figure out. Well, RetroX works on my Unbox. I can't. All right, so what my guess is on this is it's probably the Play Store. Because Play Store, if you leave on scan and remove dangerous applications from my device, it will remove them without asking you. It just does it. That happens with SmartTube or even a number of different APKs that some of us may use. So I'm guessing that you have that Play Protect is turned on, and it removed it because of that. Now, if you've ever had anything removed from Play Protect, it's a pain in the ass because you have to uninstall it completely, whatever the application is. You got to uninstall it and reinstall it. You can't just say that application's safe and it's kind of stays hidden. It's when they hide it, it's hidden. So I'm guessing it's your Play Protect. The one other caveat about Play Protect is Play Protect will prompt you every so many months. Do you want to turn Play Protect back on? And if you're not paying attention when that little pop-up comes up and you just say yes, Play Protect is on and now going to scan through your device, and anything that it deems on its danger list or its dangerous applications list will be removed or at least hidden, blocked on your device. So I'm guessing 619, that's probably what's happened, is it's been hidden because RetroX is not in the Play Store. It's a completely safe application, but he doesn't go through the Play Store because it's too many hoops and too much hassle. Because when he was on the show years ago, he said it was just too much hassle to try to get in the Play Store and what their expectations were. And so he says, you know what, it'll be a sideload APK, and that's how I'll go about it.
It's the first time in my whole entire development career that I've heard anybody describe the Google Play Store as being difficult to get an app into.
Well,
They have clearly never dealt with iOS and their apps.
Yeah. Well, I know that Franco, the guy that created RetroX, he was on the show years and years ago. And I'm telling you, if you're a retro gamer and you want easy setup, there is a cost to RetroX, but it is the easiest setup of your retro emulation with the back. It pulls in your back end emulators, category, it does cloud saves, it does all kinds of stuff, but there's a cost to it. And most people are like, well, I don't want to pay for that. Well, okay, then you have to set it up through RetroArch, which doesn't look very good and isn't easy to set up, to be honest. I've
used RetroArch for years. I love it.
Yeah, but it's not pretty.
No, it's not made to be pretty. You're supposed to play games.
Right, but it's whereas RetroX, I mean, it looks like it has all your art for all your games, and like you scan through it and you click on the art. Now, if you want to change something, sure, you can click it and then change what emulator it's using.
What's the pricing on that?
I think right now, it was $79 for lifetime for 6 devices. I think it was $12 a year if you did it by the year. When I got it, it was $12 for lifetime. And years later, he had to go up because of that cloud save. And because your cloud saves are all the time. It saves them in any device I have will sync and download those saves onto my new device. And
No,
he
that's a
said,
very cool feature. We all know RetroArch is not going to do that.
no. But he said, to be honest, he says the price wasn't sustainable long term, because he says people buy a lifetime, and he says, and they spent $12. He says, how long can I keep a server going? And plus development of the thing. So it's a great, easy setup, and I have it on all my shields. And I put it on box and did a video on it. So
I struggle with that too. I understand that. That's a real thing, because I would do resume points in a heartbeat, do a REST API for resume points and do a database for it and have it ready to roll, later this evening, no problem. I mean, this is something I do a full-time job for a long time, no issue. And the reason I don't is because of exactly what we just talked about, is that I'd be looking at some type of server cost or some type of, maintenance for a domain or whatever it may be, and I'm not going to pay out of my pocket for it. Why would I?
yeah. It's a hard, but again, people have choices on emulators. I see Andrew. Thank you for jumping in here, bud. We're gonna get ready to go. We're gonna go to the second half of the show in just a minute. Oh, there 619 posted over there the pricing for
Nice.
Retro X. Again, you can do number of, I think it's 6 devices that you can have on there or something like that. And again, great guy. I mean, Franco is stand-up dude. We're going to go to the wheel. We won't go to cover some of these other topics.
No problem.
Because we're running late. And Andrew says he's got to go to work.
Yeah.
I apologize, guys.
No.
Okay. Hey, listen, we learned a lot.
I'm fine with that.
And it was so good to not have to just hear Dab's voice.
That's my fucking friends. Sure.
Okay,
all right.
everybody.
So, yeah, go ahead.
We have a wheel for because today is going to be a mid-season finale,
Break.
and a break. So we're going to take a little break because we miss Dave so much, and because I need his banter. And he's the only one that can, tell Massa, that, he's working me too hard. And
you ain't got nobody watching your back now.
No, and I especially now since I lost Blue, you just have her, sucked back into, whatever, because you're offering her other services. And
that's what you got to do.
Yeah, I know.
She got all kinds of perks.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have 2 weeks off. We're gonna take 2 weeks off from this.
2 weeks? Is it 2 weeks? Or
yeah.
Okay.
You need more than 2? I mean, come on, man. How long a vacation do you need? I know you ain't getting paid.
I don't work, Brian. I'm not getting paid. I don't work.
I know.
I'm more busy. Okay, 2 weeks.
All right. We got 2 weeks off.
Okay. On the wheel for when we come back is in green we have Andrew with Bratz. I'm in purple with Sweetwater. Dabs is in red with Carry On. Eddie is in gray with Nickel Boys.
Oh.
Roger's in orange with that Beetlejuice. Which
I got to come back on and get rid of that.
It's got to go. And I didn't talk with him to say, we got to get rid of this. And what was the last one?
Gladiator 2.
Gladiator 2. That's Jason.
Okay.
So let's spin it.
Let's see what we got. The wheel of crap. Let's see what we got to watch when we come back. And watch it be damn beat. No. All right. I think we saved ourselves from being
No orange, and it's gonna go there, right?
We're going to Sweetwater.
Wow. No, they're going to me. I want them.
Wow.
All right, Sweetwater. It'll be this is a movie that you guys might like because you guys like basketball. So
Sweetwater.
Yeah.
Let's pull this up. Let me get a little looky here.
Put that shit on your watch list so you don't forget it.
Yeah.
It's already there. I guarantee it's already there, man. He doesn't waste no time. He probably got it on 2 or 3 lists. Okay, so Sweetwater basketball. Okay. All right. Well, that's what we got to watch next week. or not? Well, in a couple weeks.
In a couple of weeks, yeah.
Yeah, we'll let everybody know when we got it.
Yeah.
When we're gonna go.
When we're gonna watch it.
It's a docurama. It's a
Uh,
true story.
yeah, it's true. It's a true story.
Oh,
All
yeah.
right, hey, let's roll over here because Andrew says he got
Okay.
work in the morning. All right, here we go with Greatest Escaper. This is Eddie's movie. And this was the movie that was chosen. We got Sir Michael Caine is in this. So this is a documentary. I want one question before we go. Before I'll let Andrew talk first since he's got to leave before long. Is this based on a true story or was it?
Yes,
a
it
true
is.
story?
It's a true story.
Yeah.
Okay, so The Great Escaper, this is where we're going to talk about it. So just a heads up that if you've not seen this, we will give out spoilers and we will, so it is what it is. Don't get your feelings hurt if we spoil it for you. Andrew, so Great Escaper, man, what are you thinking on this movie?
Hello, by the way. I don't have a loads to say on it. I just think it was a really sweet movie. Nice little love story and a little nod to war veterans, and it was shot beautifully. Some of the aerial shots and some of the flashback scenes and stuff was really good. But yeah, it's just it wasn't overwhelmingly complicated storyline. It was very basic, but it was told really well, and obviously all the actors in it were brilliant. Not it.
Hey, Andrew's like, I'm a man of many. I'm a man of many.
I gotta keep talking, or
All right. I mean, to me, I wondered how many people that was in this that were real World War II veterans. Because a lot of the people that were playing, like the guy over here, what was his name?
But even at the wind, even at the wind, they all would have remembered it.
Yeah. It definitely felt genuine. I mean, the look between them as a couple, the mannerisms, the things they said, it didn't. So many movies nowadays, it feels fake. It feels it doesn't feel genuine. And we watch a movie and we're like, I can tell there's no chemistry between these people. I can tell, why would someone even do what they're doing? This, I felt like I'm watching, my grandparents or somebody in their mannerisms, their dialogue. Their dialogue was different than the US because some of the things they said.
Yeah.
Thank you for having on subtitles, but no, the way that they said things felt genuine, felt so good. And the acting between these two was on point. And I mean, this woman's old. I mean, and Michael Caine too, but they're not young and they acted so well in this role. I mean, I was blown away with some of that. And as Andrew said, some of the cinematography brilliantly done. And I loved instead of a movie, most movies, if we go back and it's a movie that's flashing that they're remembering when they were a kid or when they were younger, they usually start you there. You start with him on, getting ready to storm the beaches in Normandy or whatever the case is. That's where you start. And it may give you some story there. And then they jump to their old. This, it's all he's old, but then he's having those flashbacks, very strong flashbacks of what it felt like to be in those moments of D-Day and trying to take the beaches and the sacrifices that each and every one of these 18, 19-year-old guys were willing to do. You know, and I, the greatest generation of all times goes through my head whenever I see some of the people of this age and the sacrifices that they did. And 5,000 people in that one grave or in that one cemetery. 5,000. And he's like, why? Why do we have 5,000 people dead here? And to me, that's a lot of what the movie was pulling, saying, all this war for what? I mean, you know, what are we doing all this for? And it's just powerful. I got choked up a number of places in this movie.
Oh yeah,
A number of times. It was just powerful, and not a lot of actors in it, but yeah, I thought it was something else there, even though I was dreading watching it, to be honest.
That's why you need to start, you know, checking out trailers every now and then.
yeah.
You and them damn trailers.
Yeah, you need to watch them.
I turned them on my Plex.
Listen, before all of, you know, Kodi and all that, you used to watch trailers. You remember? You'd be watching TV, and when we had to watch commercials, there were trailers.
I used to have to walk over to the TV and have to bend my antennas to get it, but I don't have.
Yeah,
I don't want to go back to them days.
I know. I know. I'm not saying we have to go back to them days, but that's how we knew. Oh, this movie's coming out. You know, I want to watch it.
That's really funny. I have a 15-year-old, and she got a DVD player recently and some DVDs, and she put one in and started playing it. Was doing, you know, previews for other movies at the beginning, and she looked at me like, "What the hell is this?" I was laughing, and I was like, "Well, that's previews." And she's like, "Is this what you mean when you said they had previews?" Like, that's exactly what we mean.
Exactly, yeah.
But it goes to show you how bad of a pirate we are.
Don't they show previews in the movie theater now still?
Exactly. That's what I was going to say. It shows you how big of a pirate we are. Is that my daughter's literally never seen previews in a movie theater at 15.
Well, how do you know what you want to pirate? If you don't watch trailers.
I added options for trailers. I never said anything against them.
I'm
all for it. I'm with you. I won't make a list about what I might want to watch, but I'll watch the trailers.
Yeah. And especially since it's all your own stuff, you know?
Yeah.
Most of it, you know?
Yeah. Well, it is neat. I did turn it on in my Plex. So when we do use Plex, I do have trailers turned on where it picks 2 random movies from my library and says, oh, you know, and sometimes I'm like, oh, man, yeah, that was a good movie. And you're right. There's times I go, oh, we need to watch that again.
Yeah.
But I was dreading this one. When I saw it, you know, you guys, I'm with you. I was dreading watching it. I was like, this is going to be awful.
But it wasn't.
It wasn't. No, not at all. Not at all. It was a decent movie. And
Thank you, Eddie.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a slow start. No offense to anybody. I had to kind of keep myself awake there for a little bit, but then it started to pick up a little bit.
So yeah, well, it's cool. So everyone saw them. Andrew, I know that you're on a tighter schedule. Did you have any other thoughts? I don't want to be cutting you off if you end up having to leave.
Yeah.
I mean, no, but I was gonna say I do like the preview trailers as well. How do you know what you want to watch if you don't watch preview trailers? I went to.
Ask me about this?
I don't know, not me.
Okay, all right. So sorry, I had a request for this recently.
Right. No, I don't.
That'd be me.
I don't use the Key app. I did go to I took my daughter to the cinema on Wednesday to watch the Minecraft movie, and there was like all the trailers before the movie. There was some stuff I didn't even know was coming out.
Right.
I was interested in.
How many trailers did they play?
Maybe about 3 or 4.
Okay.
I know there was a Karate Kid one.
Yeah.
So I was like, I didn't even know that was coming out.
Anything for the Neutron?
Yeah, what's it called? It's got Daniel LaRusso in it. I forgot what it's called.
Tron Ares.
What's it called? Sorry.
I think it's Tron Ares.
Yeah, I was wondering if
Doesn't
they'd
ring a
have any
bell.
previews for that.
The
But
one, it's got
since
Jackie Chan in.
If you look up, oh, what's his name? Who's in it? You can
let
look
Oh,
up,
it's
like,
Karate Kid Legend.
yeah, Legends,
Legend.
Legends,
Oh, yeah.
Legends.
yeah, it's called Legends or something like that.
I'm not going back. You know what? I watched Karate Kid the first time. I ain't going back to. They do reboots.
Yeah.
Got Jackie Chan in, man. It's got Jackie Chan.
Yeah,
I mean, I like Jackie, but no, I'll wait for it at home. Maybe.
But just getting back to this movie, I agree with you. I'll just agree with what everything you said. And also, just like I said before, that the cinematography was really good. There was like a couple of scenes. There's one where he's like on the beach, like when he gets to Normandy and he's like standing on the beach, and it kind of it's like it pans out around him and stuff, and then it goes all dark. And that was a really good shot. And then there was the shot in the graveyard
Yes.
where it pans out at all the graves. They were really, those shots were really good.
Okay, can I give you my review of this movie?
Yeah.
You want me to go first?
Eddie.
Yeah, it was your movie. Let me go first.
Okay, go first.
I'll let you be last.
I'm short. Yeah, I love the movie, and like I said, thanks, Eddie. You know, I was dreading it, but I didn't look to see. I didn't go check out the trailer for it. You understand? Normally, I look at the trailers, but I've been on this kick that anything that's been on the wheel lately, oh, I'm only gonna watch it in big screen with everyone else. Uh, a lot of the other people won't do that, uh, and uh, and so they watch the movie ahead of time and they know what's gonna happen. I don't do that. I just want to be surprised. But I love this movie. You know, like Dad was saying about it, feeling like your grandparents, exactly what it was, and just how the way, because older couples like that have been together for so long, you know, they what was it, 70 years?
70
You
years.
know, that's like, you know, they know so much of each other, and you can't beat that. You know what I mean? That's love. You know what I mean? I like I said, I really like the movie. The shots that what they were when they first showed that one there at 4:30 in the morning when you know the pre dawn, that was great. That was great. And how they would circle around the two of them and show these different cuts showing from the past to the present, and oh, it was really really nice, really nice. Uh, Such a shame that you know Glenda had passed away. Glenda Jackson had passed, and you know she passed away it before the it was even before it even aired. She passed away. Yeah, yeah. So that's a shame. It was, and that's another thing. You know, we have to give credit to these films that we've been watching from the UK and Europe, because just like with the TV, how I always would complain, oh, why do you do this stuff there? Watch the stuff that's only 6 episodes for a season, you know. But I guess they got it right because they're holding interest. They cut a lot of stuff out. They put in what they feel they need to put in, and that's it. You know, here this movie you know they filmed it from September to October. You know what I mean? That's great. You know, it's really got to cut down on their budgets. You know, but I loved it.
All right.
Thanks, Ed.
Okay. The reason why last week I couldn't explain this movie, I got a little bit sentimental. That's why I let Dave explain the movie. But there's a lot of things in this movie I could relate to. The only thing I can't relate to is D-Day because my father was in in the British Army, but he was at that time of D-Day, he was in either I think in North Africa or Italy somewhere. But there's a lot of things in there that really touch me because I'm just saying, like last year would have been 100. My father was 100 years old last year. If my father would have been alive, would he have done the same thing? I'm pretty sure yes, because British veterans, I noticed that British veterans don't act or respect their service they did like the English do. The English,
Right.
they take it to heart. Like if you notice that most of the people that were dressed in like a double blazer coat with the medals on,
With the
okay?
medals.
Yeah.
And I remember my father with those medals on, and every special day that came up, he was dressed, and he'd just take a
Right.
walk. He'd go with a walk, and out in the street, and he'd come back, and he was happy as hell. But the cinematography of this movie was really good, even though my eyes are going on me. But the storyline, I really liked. His wife, she came out with a phrase. She said, "Well, when he came back from the war, you weren't the same." My mother told me the same thing. When my father came back from the war, he wasn't the same. So I'm saying this is, like it must have been PTSD in those days, but it wasn't recognized, because, people, they went through a lot of shit, you know. I'm saying not not because they're English, but I'm saying war is war. Uh, But it took me so long to leave this movie on. I said, should I take it off or should I leave it? Because, I've seen this movie about 3 times, but every time I get into it, I get sentimental about it, because it brings back memories. I could tell you a story about those medals, but I won't tell it right here.
Okay.
But I love this movie. I'm into, the real movies like It's not. It's not just a fictional movie. It's based on true facts. These movies, I really like. That's for me.
Yeah. Did Jason, did he get to talk? I didn't. Sorry, we had an actual meat emergency. The
Uh-oh.
butcher had to handle some meat.
No, I haven't given my comments yet,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I thought it was a good movie overall. I like most people on the panel here did not expect to have a enjoyable 90-minute movie, but it was. It kept moving along pretty well. I like the story. There's a few times when my allergies got to me a little bit. I don't know
Yeah.
how dust gets innocuous, but it does somehow comes in,
Yeah. Yeah.
But and I'm just glad they showed some things that you don't talk about or hear about from vets, like the one scene there where he's with the Germans, and you don't
Mhm.
Yeah.
ever like you watch other movies, Saving Private Ryan, stuff like that. They don't bring in that kind of
Yeah.
side of things, and
Mm.
that Germans are even there or welcome to be there. And like my grandfather was in World War II. He wouldn't talk about a lot.
No.
When he would, it was one of those things where, war is hell and it's something you hope you don't ever have to experience in your lifetime kind of
Mhm.
stuff. And this kind of didn't necessarily portray it as that, but kind of portrayed that it has an impact on their lives and affects them
Mhm.
even 70 years later. It doesn't just go away when they come back home kind of
Agreed.
things. Like people want to think that that's what happens.
Mhm.
Well, and I think a lot of times people think, oh, that kind of stuff only happens to new soldiers or stuff. No, these people dealt with the same things. They saw some of the worst side of humans. I mean, that's
Mhm.
war. You see the worst
War was bad.
side of a human.
It was. Yeah. Wow.
That's
Yeah,
right. Shit.
I have to agree with the last one when he said that the scene with them sitting at the table with the Germans was a pretty powerful scene.
Yes.
Yes.
Same as you've heard multiple talk about here is, I have family that went in World War II, and my family was on the Pacific side. And I honestly can't imagine the way my grandfather talked about the Japanese. I can't imagine him sitting at a table with at any point in time. I don't think that would have happened. So to see it this way and to see them act civil with each other and the way that they acted, it was real powerful scene.
Well, there's like a scene at the beginning where he doesn't buy that chocolate because it's German chocolate.
Yeah.
And the wife's like, "Why didn't you get that chocolate?" He goes, "German chocolate." And she goes, "But it's good chocolate." And he goes, "But they shouldn't have went to war with the world."
Yeah. That's exactly.
Yeah, I mean, I can remember my grandfather. Like I said, to say, yeah, he would sit at a table with Japanese. I can't say that. It wouldn't happen.
Well, and I think that to me, it pulled away that depending on where you're born, your location of where you're born, the luck of the draw where you're born is who or where you're going to be directed your anger and your hate from. So because some of those people were born in Germany, well, they only heard the German side of everything.
Yeah.
So again, their propaganda and their whole, everybody, we're trying to take England out, so for them, that's all they know. So they're fighting for what they believe is right. And then the Allies are fighting for what they think is right. And so you have to respect both sides are thinking they're doing the right things. I mean, you can say, well, it's the leadership part of it, but if you were like we had, I'll tell you, this is a true story that happened here. Happened in Canada, where we had, it was a World War II ceremony that they had earlier last year. So they brought a World War II survivor to Parliament to talk. And it's a person he lives in this town. He's Ukrainian, lives in this town, fought in World War II. Once he got there and was in Parliament, then they said, well, we did research and come to find out he was fighting on the German side. And then there was this big hoopla about how could they invite this World War II survivor that was a Nazi. Well, not necessarily he was a Nazi, but he fought for his country, and they believe that that's what they were. If you're 16 or 17 years old and the war is happening in your country, and they come in to gather up and they're like, guess what? You're going to war. Well, you don't have a choice. I mean, you're given it. So again, it's all the location of where you're born. And so I can hate somebody that went and does something they know is wrong. Concentration camps or some of those kind of things. They know that is wrong. I mean, that is inhumane. But someone that's just a grunt on the front line, he's doing what he thinks is best for his country. So I thought this was a powerful part, and I'm like, holy shit. As you guys said, you never see this in a movie. But I felt it was important. I thought it was one of the most important parts of the movie that, you know what, he's going to let it go, because you could be mad forever at somebody that had no choice about what side they were going to fight for. And all you got to think about this, all those people died. Those Germans had their friends died right beside them. So you can't honor that guy that was. So I think that this is another part that the movies don't touch on, and I think they did a really good job on this.
Yeah.
Well, like for myself, my father was a Canadian, enlisted in the British Army to go fight, and he found out at the end of the war he was too young to enlist. He was only 16 years old.
Powerful movie.
Oh, yeah.
Powerful. And I again, give it to Eddie. I did not want to watch this movie because I was like,
that's what I was scared of.
This is going to be a snooze fest. But good script and good acting. Doesn't matter what the subject is. If you give those two things, it's hard to mess a movie up. And Michael Caine, I mean,
yes,
a Hall of Fame actor. He's going to be there forever. I mean, and Sir Michael Caine, yes.
Yes.
And then you had good script, good writing, good acting. Telling the story. I can see where I could watch this more than once. I told Shannon, I was like, we need to watch this movie. And she's like, because you don't like downer movies. I'm like, it's a downer movie, but it's about love. And I loved the point when she says, I need to get up to see the morning because I don't want to waste a single morning because that's the only opportunity I'm gonna be able to see that sunrise.
Right.
And it's like, holy shit, grasp every single moment. And that's what she told that girl. Grasp every moment. Because every moment's precious. And so it had a lot of storylines. So all right.
Okay.
Take
take the vote.
Yeah. Thank you, Yvonne. So, all right, we're going to put this now, play or pass. So how we rate this, if you've never been this part of the show, play means that you would recommend this to somebody else or you would watch it again. Pass means, hey, you know what? I didn't like this movie and there is nobody that I could recommend this to. So that would be a pass. So we're going to go through the picks on the panel, and you guys over in our side chat, please post a play or a pass if you've watched this. Andrew, play or pass for The Great Escaper?
Good choice, Eddie. I'll give this one a play.
All right, The Great Escaper gets a play from him. Hold on a second, I got the wrong window open here. Umbrella, what do you think of this? Play or pass for this movie?
It was very sad, but we're gonna go with a play.
All right, awesome. Thanks, sir. Big Daddy Spider, what you thinking on this? Play or pass?
Yeah, pretty powerful movie. I definitely give it a play.
All right. Eddie, this is your movie, but you're the next one on my list going down the line. So what do you think on this? Play or pass for this movie that you recommended? Better not be pass.
It's a big play for me.
Gotcha. Awesome, buddy. Alvin, what you thinking on this, my man?
Play.
It's a
Play all day.
Play.
Yep.
And I give it a play. It's what else can we say about this? All right, Alvin, let's go to our and I saw we had a couple votes over here on the side that were plays.
Yeah.
So on our Telegram, my man, what is our voting situation over there?
12 plays, 1 pass.
Well, we know where this is going to fall. The Red says play all day.
Okay.
So, all right, Eddie, you knocked another one in. And Eddie is our official British or musical guy.
Yeah.
If he's picking a movie, usually
Eddie's
it's one of
the
those two
official
things.
British guy.
Yeah.
Well, he picks a British movie or he picks a musical. Those are his two genres.
Exactly.
Andrew's
Yeah, he's more British.
the only British. He's more British than you. So all right, awesome. And so we have to watch what was it we got to watch in a couple weeks?
Sweetwater.
All right. At this part of the show, we open up the floor for any shows or movies that you may or may not want to watch. So we just open the floor and see.
This is where
I'm sorry.
Before we do that, I just want to put this in there for tomorrow is we have wrong one for the fights tomorrow night.
314.
Yeah, UFC 314. I'm trying to get back to it. Come on. Down at the bottom of just looking at it. Here we go. UFC 314 has Volkanovski against Diego Lopez. Yeah, Diego.
It's,
It's
Patty's on there.
Yeah, Patty's on there.
Patty the Baddies fight.
No, I can't stand him.
You know, with Michael
it's
Chandler.
really fun. Because he's
Andrew,
setting it up, dude.
Andrew, you're gonna have to come join us, Andrew. We got
Yeah,
Patty the Baddie playing.
Andrew, you gotta come join us.
Andrew says that's too fucking late.
Yeah, I was
late
gonna
for him.
say.
3 o'clock
But
in the morning.
but the other time, they were in the UK, and he didn't join in.
Well,
got a
well,
family.
next time in the UK, I will.
Okay.
I work the weekends, you know.
And he's got kids. Man,
We're not
Yeah.
all retired like some people, Auburn.
Well, you
like
know,
3/4 of the panel.
when you're as old as us, you know, you'll get there one day. You know.
We've got another 50 years or whatever. 60.
And hey, we're lucky we don't have as many retired people. Normally, I'm the only one that works on the panel, other than you,
Yeah.
Andrew. Everybody else is retired, so
Yeah.
all my retired people aren't on the panel. So
I'm not retired yet.
yeah, see, so look at there.
We
We
get
got more
there, right?
workers on the panel today. So.
Yeah.
All right, is there anything? Was there any? I don't think there was any other events
There's
on this
no
weekend. But
PKFC. I don't think that's till next week. Yeah, there's nothing.
Next weekend is WrestleMania.
this weekend or next?
Next.
Okay.
Easter weekend.
So that'll be like 2 or 3 days of WrestleMania. It used to be just
WrestleMania.
one
Saturday,
night. Now
Sunday.
Yeah.
they stretch it on out.
Mhm.
2 days.
Because we Hall of Fame and
Oh yeah, it's Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
so Run says thanks you for the Bondsman. And yeah, I watched. We finished that.
Oh yes, I need to watch that. That's on my
Kevin
list.
Bacon. Funny. I'd give it like a 7.5. I mean, it was good. 7.5, maybe even 8. Some of the episodes were really funny, but it's done by Blumhouse, so sometimes it's a little gorier than what some people may like, but definitely a watch.
Right,
something to watch.
I apologize. I have to dip out.
Yeah,
I've got to get up in 5 hours, and I have to
Andrew,
send it back.
thank you for hanging with us, buddy.
Okay, Andrew, have a good one.
Yeah, sorry, I couldn't stay longer.
I know.
Bye.
Thanks, guys. Have a good night.
Have a
Night.
good one.
Hi, Andrew.
I want to say there's a movie that you can't watch. Please God, don't watch this movie.
Which one?
Oh my
Jesus Christ! Somebody recommended this one to me. It is awful.
What is it?
It is terrible. It is terrible.
Can't
I
see
watched
the
it.
name. What's the
Wait,
name?
In
of it?
the Lost Lands.
In the
Wait,
Lost
what?
Lands?
It's not showing.
No, it's showing. I can't
Why
read it.
is?
It's
What?
tiny on my.
Oh, there it is. Okay. Yeah, the acting is bad. The dialogue is bad. The special effects are bad. The editing
The story is
bad.
awful.
Oh,
What did they?
They're
What
just
did
doing
they?
stuff to do things in the movie. There's no reason, or they're just doing it just to do it. It's so awful.
Oh, I've seen worse.
yeah, you have, but
Anything under 6 in TMDB ratings, you pretty much know.
What was it rated?
I
A
think
6?
it's like a 5.7 last time I checked.
Listen, I've seen things rated at 10s and 20s.
What was the
Yeah.
crow at again?
What was that?
the crow.
What was the
Oh, the
crow
crow,
rating?
Yeah.
I'll
Yeah.
never live that one down. And I didn't. That was off the cuff. I didn't even watch it. I did it off of a thing. But this
To watch a
when
trailer.
to be honest, this is when we watched this. We sat there and made fun of it after about
Yeah, that's the
15,
best.
20 minutes. We made fun of it. We're like, really? And this is what you're wanting to do? Just making jokes about everything in it, because that was the only way that made it more enjoyable. Because there and I see it's on trending. That's my big list is what's trending, and I'll watch it. So do yourself a favor, don't watch it unless you just want to make fun of it the whole time, because it's that bad.
Yeah, she's in a bunch of the Resident Evil movies.
Right.
Somebody
Yes.
reached out to me and was like, hey, I know you like Resident Evil, obviously. Here's something you should watch. And I was like, how the hell did you make it through this whole movie?
I know. I did. Most of the time I stick with a movie, even if I hate it. I mean, there's very few that I stop at like really early, but I stick. I was like, I'm gonna do it. And we were, but it's definitely not worth your
I
time.
finished it, so it didn't keep showing up in my in progress or finished.
It's like, get it off my list.
Yeah, when I heard about it, I thought, oh, this will be great. And then I saw the trailer and I was like, nope.
No.
Out.
Well, you know, Batista said he doesn't want to do a Guardians of the Galaxy anymore because he wants to expand his acting. He
Right.
wants to do some things outside of being Trakt. So
But
he
was
decided
he?
to do this movie. And I'm
But
like,
was he
how
a?
far away from what you're already doing? This
Yeah.
isn't far. It's not a big reach from Trakt to this.
But was he trained? Is he a trained actor? You know, because that's the other side of all this. Also, you know, we need to start doing that. Looking at, you know, where these people got their training from. You
He
know, or if they were, you know, took an acting class at least. You know, because some of these guys are so bad. It's like, why even bother? I guess that's the stuff that I look at and laugh at.
Yeah, well, he's a professional wrestler, so he is kind of
Yeah,
trained in acting.
Yeah, yeah,
Look at good thing Andrew left.
yeah, right.
Hey, if you say wrestlers aren't actors, you have not watched Dark Side of the Ring. Okay, there's
Oh
a
yeah,
series
well, I
I'll
watched that.
recommend for you.
100%.
Yeah, that's great. It's a great series.
I've watched. I've watched all Dark Side of the Ring because when we'd watch Dark Side of the Ring, there's wrestlers I remember. I mean, I remember George Animal Steel, you know, Tony Atlas, and with Devon Erickson. So when I'm watching Dark Side of the Ring, I'm like, oh, I remember that wrestler from back then. And then you see the backside of how they did it. And some of those guys, especially, wasn't it the ECW when it first started out? That was
it was insane.
oh,
I used to go down and see that in the
mugs
city.
were getting hurt.
Oh yeah,
off of some of the shit they were doing.
Yeah.
I heard an announcement. I heard an announcement this week that Dune 3 is going into production next month.
I thought it was already shot.
No, it's not shot. They're going into production.
Okay.
What about hand? Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
Handmaid's Tale. I didn't get to it yet. I want to. I need to sit down and get my body ready for it. You know, because I love Handmaid's Tale. I gotta say, I just watched the latest episode of that Pit. Anybody out there that's a fan of those medical type drama things, I mean, this is the best one I've seen in a while. Really, you know, sure there's some, you know, some stuff that you could look at, like, you know, the actors aren't wearing masks when they should be, but it's really good, really good.
I've seen it. It's trending really well. It's just
usually
good. I'm usually not a big hospital fan, but it's
I
a lot of people are talking about how good this is.
Really good. Really good.
I want to say, didn't Beach say something about the music on it was good?
Yeah, the music on it.
I thought he said it was like really good music. So
yeah,
The Pit.
And there's another one that I watched that was a half-hour series that Dick Wolf just did, and it's a cop show. For anyone who likes cop shows, it was really good. Yeah, it was really good. I can't remember the name of it. Hold on, let me just find it here. Look at Dick Wolf.
Godfather of Harlem's coming Sunday.
Okay, that's good.
On your guys' play or pass stuff, do you guys always use latest movies, or do you ever go back and watch
Go back.
Go back.
We go back.
We have. We used to be. It used to be any movie you could pull, but what ended up was happening. We felt it's like a lot of times we were pulling movies from 15, 20 years back. Now, then we needed to try to be more current to try to keep it more interesting. At least it's something that we felt like, you know, hey, this is something on trending list. Maybe people would watch it. But for anybody that's on the panel, they can pick any movie they want. So if they really want to pick something from way back, and the wheel of crap will decide if we have to watch it or not. So
So I was kind of wondering how they did that because I'm listening and kind of
Yeah.
taking in how everybody's kind of picking things. I've got people here who watch trailers. We've got people here who go off of trending. We've got people here who go off of list. And so for me, it's ratings. That's one of the things I look at is the
You look at the
TMDB.
ratings.
I do.
But the ratings are so. Can
So
you
Yeah.
trust
far off.
ratings?
Really, like I said, anything like below like a 6 on TMDB is just going to be crap. It's not really something you're going to want to actually watch. It's
But
not going to be something you're going to learn a lesson from, or it's going to be a good movie, or like what we just watched on the Play or Pass. That was a
yeah,
good movie and had good content. If it's
Yeah.
rated 5 stars on TMDB, it's not going to be that great.
Mhm.
because I know I use the skin because I'm using the Nimbus skin and I have all the ratings.
Mhm.
Shows up there on the screen, and a lot of times the ratings, especially the critics, they'll be like a 30%. And I'm like, really? This is a 30% movie? And we'll watch and we're like, was it great? No. But it was good. It was a
Yeah.
decent movie. I'll give it to them. But sometimes I think that I don't know who does the voting. And I guess maybe I'll start trying to pay attention to
Or
what
the
TMDB does.
amount of people that vote.
Yes.
That's the other side of it. It could be a 90%, and you see that it's like only 1,000 people voted on it.
Okay, so that's interesting. You bring that up. That you are 100% accurate there. Like, so when we pull in fan art for like a movie or whatever, that's how we actually determine it. Is there's going to
Right.
be 20 different options for fan art that we could use for the background that you're going to see in Kodi or whatever. But
Right.
we choose the one that has the highest amount of votes.
See, I would never do that. I go
Mhm.
through when I was had stuff on my Plex. I was going through and I would pick them myself and see which one I liked.
Yeah,
You
but an
know?
add-on can't really do that.
Oh, an
'Cause
add-on
add-on
can't do
has
that.
to.
That's true.
It's got
That's
to.
true. That's true.
So what he's saying is he's like looking at that's the best.
Yeah, that
The
you would use.
odds are
I
the
guess.
best.
Yeah. I guess you would do that.
Well, and that's why I say like TMDB when I mentioned ratings. Like he mentioned his skin he uses, and what he's talking about there is that on that particular skin, you get ratings from. I want to say Metacritic,
Yeah.
Rotten
Rotten
Tomatoes,
Tomatoes.
OMDBI,
Yeah.
TMDB, all these
TMDB's on
different
it.
places.
IMDB. Yep.
IMDB, yeah. And so I look at the TMDB ratings, and the reason I look at those is because exactly what you just said is that's provided by users. That's not a critic. That's not somebody getting paid for it. This is people who have tried to watch it and what they think of it. And so those are usually pretty accurate. But and another thing, I know this is not a good way to do it, but I oftentimes look at cover art too. That
That's
could
what
be a very strong determination for whether or not I watch something.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like this this movie we just watched this week, that cover art I probably would not have picked that out and watched that based off
Mhm.
of how simple
Right.
it was, and just
Right.
so it's weird and it's cool to see the different ways that people's all decide, hey, this is what I'm going to watch based on this. So as a developer, I love to see that because IMDb, that kind of stuff, that's going out. Like we're not going to be able to do that much longer, and so you got to find other ways to provide people useful content based on whatever their preference may be, whether it's a list or a review or a trailer or whatever. And so yeah, it was like I said, this is very simple, cover art, things like that. I probably wouldn't have watched it based off of that alone.
Me either. That's why when I
But
saw it, I was like,
if you would have watched the trailer though, would you have watched it?
Probably, and you're very accurate there. Like that, I would say the trailer probably would have swayed me a lot. I don't watch a lot of trailers because I find them to have a lot of spoilers in them, honestly.
Right,
So,
they do. But that's why I guess my list is so large. My watch list is so large because by the time I go back to watch it again, I'm like I don't really remember what the trailer was, and I'm not gonna watch the trailer again just to find out. And I'll say, okay, I'll watch it because I'm in the mood for this movie because I remember putting on the list for a reason. You know what I mean? And I'll
yeah,
watch it.
yeah, no, that makes perfect sense. Like I said, I love to hear the different opinions. I mean, and especially coming from somebody who uses a whole different system. You're not
Mhm.
using Kodi. You're not dealing with the same add-ons and stuff that we're used to dealing
Right.
with. So you may have a whole different view of things. So it's
Yeah.
really interesting for me to
Don't
hear
get me
how
wrong. I
other
used to use Kodi, but once I
got above
got
a
in the
certain
press,
age.
yeah, No.
No, my wife.
His wife that
She,
hooked me.
we did a video, and this was years ago, and she did a video on how to set up automating your Plex and have it to where it uses sonar radar. It,
Yeah.
she did a video on that years ago, and Aubin watched it, and Aubin was like, creating a library.
Yeah.
And
Mind you, you have to understand, I have 17,000 DVDs.
Yeah. And you probably have, hard drives full of stuff, So.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And I can understand that completely. Like I said, it also comes with simplicity. Plex is pretty easy to use. We joke, the developers on the Kodi side call Stremio Fisher Price Kodi. I mean, that's
it's true.
It is.
But most of my non-techie people like Stremio because it's easy.
Yeah.
Anybody can learn it. Well, most of
it's great. Carries the settings across different browsers, all that. One thing I'll warn anybody, I'm not a hater by any means. I'll joke and call it names and this and that, but it's definitely for, the less technically inclined. If you do set up Stremio, be careful to make sure when you set up the different Media Fusion or Torrent.io or whatever that you're not using the direct download stuff. You're gonna get a letter.
Yeah, no torrenting. Yeah. Unless you're behind a VPN.
Make sure you use your provider. That's the biggest, huge red flag. We can, in the Kodi community, we can keep you from hitting that stuff, and we do.
Right.
Well, certain add-ons do. Other add-ons don't. You're going to get some add-ons that do the one clicks and that kind of thing. And hey, all four of them, great. On my side, I'm trying to protect you, and I really mean that. Like that's why we only go with the grid. It's not because we're rich and we want to have paid providers only.
Yeah,
they're cheap.
Not like you're getting kickback.
Right, they're super cheap. I promise you, real to grid, premiumized, none of them have ever offered me crap. Okay, I promise you. On top of that, it's really about protecting yourself. This day and age, privacy is a huge thing. It's a big thing. You want to use an encrypted connection, HTTPS, something like that. Otherwise, you are opening yourself up. And I don't want to see any user get in trouble or get a letter or get some type of financial action taken against them because they're using my add-on. And so that's the one thing I always try to be very clear about is that, if you use these things and you mix the different products, make sure you do at least a little research and don't set yourself up to, be downloading or something like that to get a letter or something like that, because they'll come after you.
How many times we see it's on Reddit almost every week?
Yeah, somebody from Stremio set it up wrong. Yeah.
That somebody says, "Oh, I have," and they'll say, "Oh, I used Real to Britain. I got a letter." I'm like, "But did you?"
Yeah. And you'll never see that on Kodi. You see somebody saying on Kodi, they're full of shit. And I'm just telling you because I can tell you how it works. It's just there's no way. And so, I'm not saying one's superior than the other. I don't want anybody to think that.
It's different systems.
Different systems. I set up the same system he has. He talks about the automated Plex and all of that for my parents and all of that.
Yep.
I even set it up with the overseer where they could request, and they get what they wanted. But I set up my download agents when I did Radar and Sonar to go through a Real to Brid client so that it was only downloading through Real to Brid. And that's how I protected myself. So it's those little pieces of information that really help people and keep people from getting, like I said, letters or legal action, things like that. So hopefully, if I can teach anybody anything today, it's that you're safe and you're okay as long as you're using a provider. When you start using those torrents and that stuff, you're opening yourself up to all kinds of things.
Yeah, and I post it constantly on Reddit. When you connect to a P2P torrent, your IP is exposed. If you're not using a VPN, if you just connect regularly, your IP is exposed to anybody else part of that swarm. Anybody else that's on that torrent can see your IP address. And people say, well, I've used it for years and years and never got in trouble. Well, it's true. Maybe you didn't. Maybe they weren't monitoring that particular movie or that show when you were watching it. That's Russian roulette. Maybe you got away for a long time without it. But the time that they're monitoring that while you're watching or you're torrenting, your IP is now logged. And then they're going to send up, all right, who's the provider for this? They'll send a letter to your ISP. Your ISP is going to send you a letter. Stop doing that. But that's because you've made yourself exposed. And I argue with people all the time on Reddit, and they'll say, I've done it forever and never. Okay, you know what? I can speed up and down the highway for weeks on end and never get a ticket. That doesn't mean that I'm never going to get a ticket, because as soon as there's a police officer on the road and I'm driving, over the speed limit, I'm going to get a ticket. So just because you got away with it doesn't mean you're going to get away with it forever.
Well, and a lot of those people have had ISPs that are smaller and not real big, huge companies, and so they couldn't afford to track and enforce different, rules for things and downloading. But now they're being forced to because they're
Yes.
getting sued and they're having to, these smaller companies are no longer getting away with, well, I didn't know what my customers were doing. And that's a big thing. Like I said, I'm not trying to preach to anybody, but I do want to protect everybody when it comes to. I don't want to see people in the community getting hit with letters and things like that. And
Yeah.
that's a big thing. You may have gotten away with it in the past, but things are changing rapidly in our community. Trust me,
Yeah.
ask the guys making the scrapers. They just had to update Cloudflare because of this stuff. I
Yep.
won't even
Yep.
get into all that, but that's part of
Yep.
what the
Yep.
update that you guys got is, Cloudflare was updated, and that's because it is getting harder to scrape the stuff. And the sites that we are scraping from are being tracked. He nailed it. There's trackers included on all these things. Some of those trackers, you may not realize it, but a tracker included on a torrent may actually be the Motion Picture Association of America on the actual
Yes.
torrent watching you track this stuff. I mean,
Yes.
they're the tracker listed, and it will say MPAA on there, and people are still downloading this stuff. And oh, I'm surprised I got a letter. Like, you're an idiot.
It's true. And again, it's just because you got to wait on me forever. And your point of read Torrent Freaks, people. If you want to, Torrent Freak does a really good job of pointing out court cases, laws, injunctions, whatever. They post a lot of stuff. But you look at laws across the world. It used to be just the UK was really hard. Now, Italy's, France, the US, Canada, all these countries are being forced through the court system the court systems are standing by these big companies and then going to these providers and saying, no, you're going to do what we said. You could ignore us in the past. Now we have a court order. And as Umbrella said, if you don't do something to stop this, now you're liable as a company. And
look at Real to Brid. I mean, there's a perfect example. Look at what just happened to them. And it goes for all platforms. It goes for the Plex. It goes for the Kodi. It goes for the Stremio. It doesn't matter where you're doing it from. You need to make sure you're doing it through a provider that is keeping your traffic encrypted. That's my big point I try to preach to everybody.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, we're at 7:07.
Yeah.
Alvin, I don't want to be. Well, before we will, because I might have overtook the time too much. Did any of the other guys have any shows recommendations that, hey, you guys need to check this out? It is good. Or I didn't see too many from our side chat other than the Bondsman. What's up, Charles?
There's a G20 that came out.
Yeah, I saw that dropped day or two ago. It hasn't been long.
Yeah, does anyone watch it? I haven't watched it.
No, I haven't. I've seen a trailer for it, and it looks okay, but I don't know if it'll be high on my list to watch.
There was another one, Kill Tony.
Oh.
Kill
Tony.
Yeah, another one that came out this year. Recently.
This year?
Yeah, it's 2020.
I'm waiting for a digital release on this, the Amateur. That one looks interesting.
The Amateur?
Yeah, just released today.
Yeah, the Amateur, yeah.
Well, the Mikey 77 or Mikey 17 did. It's
pretty good.
It's not a 4K, but I mean it is upscaled. I'd say it's a 90% quality. Definitely worth watching. The audio, I mean, I'm being picky if I'm downstairs watching it. If I had to be picky, I could say the audio wasn't perfect on 5.1 surround sound kind of feel, but definitely watchable. And I'm not a cam watcher. I don't watch cams, but we watched this and I had no complaints on the quality.
The results on that are jacked up. If you open it up and you get a 1x bet across the top, close it out.
Yes. Yes. There's different versions of it out there. So you got to kind of look and find one. Actually, the very first one was that 1x bet. And I was downstairs, I pulled it up and I saw that, but then the sound kind of had this little bit of a sound to it. That tinny sound. And I'm like, nope. Because movies, that can be the part of a movie. That aspect can be the part that ruins a movie for me. That I'm not, you know what I mean? It could have been an all right movie, but because of that sound or even bad picture.
The bad picture. they edit it so dark, you know, that you're staring at the screen trying to see the you know what the actor is actually doing.
Yeah, that does happen.
Put a
I
freaking spotlight out there or something. You know what I mean?
Give me a flashlight to put on the
Flashlight,
TV.
something. It's crazy.
No, I miss the days of people would get up in the middle of it and then walk
Oh
in
my
front of
God.
the
All
camera.
the cams, the
Oh,
early
yeah.
cams.
Yes.
Oh my God. The early cams, like we've talked about before, where you
Yeah.
spend all night long downloading something,
Yep.
like all night long download to get up the next morning and turn it on, and then it'd be the wrong movie.
Yeah.
Oh,
like-
man.
Somebody's crunching popcorn all the way through it.
Or
Yeah.
it's all in Russian, and you're like,
Yeah.
Jesus.
You know,
Yeah.
you have to be able to go to the movie theater and be able to, you know, get up in the projector room. You know.
Yeah, that's the one I was pointing at. There. It looks like somebody in the side chat managed to watch it today as well.
Yeah.
Yes, but I'd have to look at the quality, see if it's a.
Yeah, I've heard mixed reviews about.
I'm
the
not
movie.
watching TS. I can't do TS.
No, I'm with you. It's worth the wait just to wait for the digital release. That's what I
Yeah.
typically will do is go to TMDB and look for the digital release date.
Yeah. I can always have something else to watch, and rather wait for you know the better copy. I ain't watching no camera.
Well, yeah, you got 2,000 movies in your
Hey,
watch list. You
my
got
watch
plenty of
was
time.
full. And
You
I,
got
and I
plenty of
think,
time
and
to
I
wait.
think that's just movies. We're not even talking about TV shows.
I thought I was ridiculous with 15 terabytes of share drives throughout the house. And
Our boy. He.
Yeah.
Well,
Bad.
we
I
razz
need
him.
help.
We
I need
razz him,
help. I need help.
and that's all. That's all. We give him a hard time, but you know, it is what it is. All right, so let's go ahead and we're gonna pack out of that. Let's go ahead and head out of here since we're at 2 hours and we've kept all these people up this.
Yeah.
We'll start with Umbrella. Anything you want to say before we head out of here, bud?
I don't know. You guys have a wonderful day. I appreciate your time.
All right. Big Daddy Spider.
Hey, everybody, it's been a great show. Enjoy the break. We'll be back in a few weeks and back for more fun.
Eddie?
Thanks for the review of my movie. Now I can say I'm happy.
Yeah. Don't pick. Alvin. Wait. Tap your shit. Alvin.
Muted.
Tap it.
Me?
Yeah. Oh, wait.
Yeah, you hear me?
Yeah, there we go. Yep, we got you.
Okay. I don't know why that happened. We'll see you guys in a couple weeks. I guess that would be like in the first week of May. You know, we'll see you then. Watching Sweetwater. I hope to. I'll be in big screen anyhow. But we'll be watching some movies. As a matter of fact, tonight, where we've been watching. What's the name of that one?
Wentworth.
Wentworth. Yeah. So we're going to be in there tonight watching that. If there's nothing else really on. That's about it. We'll see you guys
2
then.
weeks.
2 weeks. I miss my other guys. Dave and Bob.
Roger.
I miss you guys. Leaving me stranded with this you know tyrant over
Back
here.
at it.
Yeah.
All right. So, and we will be watching UFC will be on big screen tomorrow, right?
Tomorrow, yeah.
You'll start with the early prelims.
Early
Anybody
prelims.
that's got an Oculus,
Yeah.
big screen will be watching the UFC fights. They're all together, and it's great time. Honestly, have you a few drinks or whatever, and then
The early prelims are really the best fights.
Yeah.
You know, really.
True that.
Yeah.
True that.
And those guys want to be able to, get some money.
Yeah.
They got money.
All right. So thanks everyone watching. Big thanks to Umbrella for coming on here and giving us a little bit of education. Thanks to all the other guys on my panel, and thoughts and prayers out to our buddy C-Man, Roger, and out to Beach. We hope to be seeing you guys soon. And let's go ahead and do the closeout. We'll do the after show with just us chatting, and let's do the extra out.
falling on the screen. Hope you laughed and learned a bit. Had some fun and skipped routine. Time to close this crazy ship. Thanks for tuning in, my friends. But it's time to say goodbye. Through the streams and download set. But now it's time for us to fly. Information, picked up tips and tricks to enjoy. But now we leave this online station. It's time to pack up every toy. Thanks for tuning in, my friends. But it's time for us to fly. Through the streams and download set, you can kiss my ass goodbye.